Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're tackling one of those questions that just sparks debate at every family dinner or coffee chat. What's the most dinosaur-like animal currently alive? It's a question that sounds simple, but trust me, the answer is a fascinating tangle of evolutionary biology, ancient history, and even a bit of what we perceive as dino-like. We're not just looking for something that looks scaly or has sharp teeth. We're going to dive deep into lineage, anatomy, and behavior to really get to the bottom of this prehistoric puzzle. Let's dig in. Alright, first things first, let's address the scientific consensus right up front. Most paleontologists agree that birds aren't just like dinosaurs, they are dinosaurs. Specifically, they're the direct descendants of a group called theropods, think T-Rex and Velociraptor, but smaller, feathered versions. This isn't just a theory, it's backed by mountains of fossil evidence showing a clear evolutionary link. So, in a very real, scientific sense, if you want to see a dinosaur, just look out your window. This immediately puts birds in a unique category when we're talking about dinosaur-like. So, what specific traits make birds bona fide dinosaurs? Well, it's a list. We're talking about a furcula, or a wishbone, which is a fused clavicle found in theropods. Then there are the pneumatized, or hollow, bones, which lighten the skeleton, crucial for flight, but also present in many non-avian dinosaurs. And of course, feathers. While not all dinosaurs had them, their presence in many theropod fossils confirms feathers originated long before birds took to the skies. These aren't just superficial resemblances. They're deep anatomical connections that trace back directly to their dinosaur ancestors. Now, among birds, which one takes the crown? Believe it or not, the humble chicken often gets a lot of scientific attention. Why? Because genetically, it's frequently cited as one of the closest living relatives to T-Rex, specifically due to similarities in its collagen protein. Plus, just watch a chicken strut. That bipedal gait, the way its head bobs, the texture of its scaled legs, it really evokes images of smaller, ground-dwelling theropods. And with an estimated 25 billion chickens globally at any given time, they're arguably the most common living dinosaur we interact with daily, which is wild, by the way. If the chicken is the common dino, then the cassowary is the rock star. These magnificent, formidable birds from Australia and New Guinea look straight out of the Mesozoic era. With their vibrant blue and red heads, a distinctive bony casque on their head, and those massive, dagger-like claws, up to 10 centimeters long, on each foot, they're truly intimidating. They're basically modern-day raptors in terms of their physical prowess and defensive capabilities. If you ever encounter one, you'll feel that primal dinosaur fear immediately. They're a powerful reminder of their theropod ancestry, especially when you see them move through the rainforest. Now, let's pivot to the other main contender, crocodilians. Alligators, crocodiles, caimans, these guys look like dinosaurs, right? The scales, the powerful jaws, the ancient stare. But here's the crucial distinction: while birds are dinosaurs, crocodilians are only closely related to dinosaurs. They share a common ancestor, the archosaurs, but they represent a separate branch that diverged much earlier. Think of it like this: dinosaurs and crocodilians are cousins, whereas birds are direct descendants. So, they might have that dino vibe visually, but their evolutionary path is quite different from birds. What's truly remarkable about crocodilians is their incredible staying power. Their body plan has remained largely unchanged for an astounding amount of time. Fossil records indicate that the basic crocodilian form has been around for over 200 million years, predating many of the dinosaurs we're familiar with. This makes them truly living fossils. They survived the asteroid impact that wiped out their dinosaur cousins, adapting and thriving in aquatic environments. Their resilience and ancient lineage make them a strong contender for most dinosaur-like in terms of evolutionary tenacity and ancient morphology. To understand the relationship between birds, crocodiles, and dinosaurs, we need to talk about archosaurs. This is a group of reptiles that emerged around 250 million years ago, during the late Permian period. Archosaurs split into two main branches, the Pseudosuchia, which includes crocodilians and their extinct relatives, and the Avametatarsalia, which includes dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and eventually, birds. So, while birds are direct descendants of one archosaur branch, crocodilians are the last living members of the other. They both hail from a common reptilian ancestor, but their paths diverged before dinosaur as we typically define it even existed. Let's get into the bones of the matter, literally. When we compare skeletal structures, the differences highlight their distinct evolutionary paths. Birds, as we mentioned, have a fused hip structure, a prominent keel bone for flight muscle attachment, and those characteristic hollow, pneumatic bones, plus a furcula. These are highly specialized for lightness and efficiency, traits shared with many smaller, agile theropods. Crocodilians, conversely, possess incredibly dense bones, a massive, heavily armored skull, and bony plates called osteoderms embedded in their skin. They also have gastralia, or belly ribs, providing extra support. This reflects a body plan optimized for strength, ambush predation, and protection, reminiscent of larger, more robust prehistoric reptiles. Another major visual and functional difference is their integument, basically, what covers their skin. Birds are defined by their feathers, which, evolutionarily, are modified scales. Feathers are incredible structures, providing insulation, aiding in flight, and playing a huge role in display. They're a direct link back to feathered dinosaurs. Crocodilians, on the other hand, sport thick, heavily scaled skin, often reinforced with those osteoderms we just discussed. This provides robust protection, helps with camouflage in murky waters, and reduces water loss. While both originated from reptilian scales, their divergence represents millions of years of distinct adaptation. Beyond bones and skin, how do their brains and behaviors stack up? Modern birds, especially corvids and parrots, display incredible problem-solving abilities, tool use, and complex social structures. This suggests a level of cognitive complexity that may parallel some of the more intelligent, smaller theropods. Crocodilians, while often perceived as primitive, are also surprisingly sophisticated. They exhibit complex hunting strategies, parental care, and even seem to use tools to lure prey. Some studies even suggest they can learn and adapt their behaviors based on environmental changes. Both show a level of intelligence that's far from simple reptilian instincts. Another fascinating parallel is parental care. Many dinosaurs, especially oviraptorosaurs, are known to have guarded their nests and even cared for their young, much like modern birds do. Birds are renowned for their elaborate nests, incubation, and extensive care of chicks. Crocodilians, often seen as cold-blooded, actually display significant maternal care. Female alligators build nests, guard their eggs aggressively, and even carry their hatchlings in their mouths to protect them, staying with them for months. This strong parental instinct in both groups provides a behavioral link to their shared archosaurian heritage, making them more dinosaur-like than many other reptiles. When it comes to being a predator, both groups have impressive credentials, but their styles differ. Many birds, from raptors to herons, are opportunistic and highly effective hunters, using speed, agility, and keen eyesight. Some even hunt cooperatively. Crocodilians, however, are the ultimate ambush predators. They rely on immense strength, powerful jaws, and that infamous death roll to subdue prey. Their bites are among the strongest in the animal kingdom. While many dinosaurs were active, pursuing predators like birds, others, especially the larger ones, might have utilized a more sit-and-wait strategy, perhaps more akin to crocodilians, depending on their niche. This difference shows distinct evolutionary pressures at play. Their life histories also paint a picture of differing evolutionary strategies. Birds, typically, have a relatively rapid growth rate, reaching maturity quickly and often having shorter lifespans, sometimes just a few years for smaller species, though large raptors can live for decades. Crocodilians, on the other hand, are slow growers, but they can live for incredibly long periods, often exceeding 70 years, with some estimates reaching over 100 years for individuals in the wild. This slow, sustained growth and longevity are more characteristic of many larger, long-lived reptilian dinosaurs, who also had indeterminate growth, meaning they continued to grow throughout their lives, albeit at a slower pace. While we don't have dinosaur DNA, genetic studies offer another layer to this puzzle. DNA analysis confirms the deep evolutionary split between birds and crocodilians, despite their shared archosaur ancestry. Birds consistently show closer genetic markers to their theropod dinosaur ancestors than crocodilians do. For instance, specific protein sequences, like collagen, have been found to be remarkably similar between chickens and T-Rex. This reinforces the idea that birds are genetically direct descendants, whereas crocodilians are more like enduring, ancient cousins who retained many primeval traits, but followed a different genetic trajectory over hundreds of millions of years. So, let's put it on a timeline. The common ancestor of crocodilians and dinosaurs lived around 250 million years ago. Crocodilians then went down their own evolutionary path, establishing their distinct, incredibly successful body plan. Dinosaurs, from that same archosaur ancestor, diversified enormously, with one lineage eventually leading to birds, around 150 to 160 million years ago with the emergence of Archaeopteryx. This means crocodilians are ancient contemporaries, while birds are the result of a direct, continuous evolutionary line from within the dinosaur family itself. That's a huge distinction in how we think about dinosaur-like. Okay, let's be honest, a huge part of our initial reaction to dinosaur-like is visual. Crocodilians, with their scaly skin, reptilian eyes, and powerful, low-slung bodies, just scream dinosaur to many of us. This is because many of the large, iconic dinosaurs, like T-Rex or Triceratops, are often depicted with scaly skin, even though some likely had feathers. Birds, especially smaller ones, can feel less dino to the untrained eye. But if you consider a cassowary, or even the scaled legs and fierce gaze of a chicken, that visual perception starts to shift. Our mental image of a dinosaur heavily influences who we consider dino-like. Ultimately, the answer depends on how you define dinosaur-like. Are we talking about phylogenetic relatedness, meaning direct evolutionary lineage? Are we looking at morphological similarities, the way they're built and look? Or is it about behavioral traits, like parental care or predatory style? If it's about being an ancient lineage that survived major extinction events, crocodilians are champions. If it's about sharing common features with the broader group of archosaurs, both fit. But if it's about direct ancestry and shared fundamental anatomical and genetic traits with the extinct dinosaurs, then the answer becomes much clearer. So, after all that, what's the verdict? If we use the strictest scientific definition, focusing on direct evolutionary lineage and shared fundamental biological traits, then birds, unequivocally, are the most dinosaur-like animals alive, because they are dinosaurs. Every bird you see is a living testament to the incredible evolutionary journey of dinosaurs. From the humble chicken to the majestic cassowary, they carry the legacy of their theropod ancestors. Crocodilians are astounding ancient relatives, fantastic living fossils in their own right, and they visually evoke that prehistoric feel more readily. But evolutionarily, the crown goes to our feathered friends. They represent a continuous, unbroken line back to the age of giants. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.